If I could have your attention, please. Now that we have a quorum, I call this meeting of the June 2017 Iredell-Statesville School Board of Education into regular session. Chair would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion according to North Carolina General Statute 143-31-8.11. Make a motion that the board enter into closed session to discuss personnel matters and to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
Any property, Kenny? Dr. Miller, any property? Thank you.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session to discuss personnel matters. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. The board is now in closed session. motion to move back into open session?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to move into open session. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Iredell-Statesville Board of Education is now in regular session. It is our policy to begin our meeting with a moment of silence in which board members, staff, and guests may privately reflect in their own way on the business of this meeting and our children. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we move into our agenda, I would like to clarify our public comment sign-up procedure to be more aligned with our policy to allow everyone the opportunity to speak. We will keep our public comment sign-up sheet out front until we are ready to open the floor to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak to the board must sign up prior to that time. There will be no additional sign-ups once public comment starts. While the board welcomes our shareholders' views, please remember comments should not be slanderous or personal in nature. To be fair to everyone, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Thank you. Board members, Mr. Johnson, do we have any modifications or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, you'll find at your place an addendum to the personnel report for tonight. And if you approve that, we've got some introductions we'd like to make. You also have agenda item M that was added after your original agenda went out. These are change orders for the North Iredell High School project. We also have one amendment to the overnight field trip request, and Mr. Armstrong's going to be telling you about our Chinese trip abroad during the month of July. So those are some amendments that were made to your original agenda.
So we're adding M for the change orders, item M, board members. We have an addendum for item 1E for personnel report. And at, I'm assuming, number 14, we'll be adding an out-of-country field trip. Is that correct?
Yes.
Will that be a voting issue?
Yes.
Please make a note. Are there any other modifications to the agenda, board members? Any discussion? At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Agenda is approved. Moving into our consent agenda, budget amendments. Ms. White.
Good evening. Tonight I have budget amendments for the state, local, federal, capital outlay, and other special revenue funds. This amendment was discussed at the CAL meeting last Monday. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions? Board members, comments? Thank you, Ms. White. Next on our consent agenda, personnel. Dr. Lassane.
Mr. Page, Mr. Johnson, members of the board, you have had the opportunity to review the June personnel report along with the addendums that were just addressed. Are there any questions regarding these items?
Dr. Lassane, we've had a our attorney tonight has notified us of something I guess we've been doing a little bit wrong. But that I would like to make sure we understand this, Mr. Couttet. Transfers are at the will of the superintendent. We do not vote on transfers. Is that correct?
Transfers from one school to another are the direct responsibility of the superintendent. Transfers within a school are the direct responsibility of the principal. The board must be informed at the soonest possible time following those transfers.
But the board does not approve or disapprove of these transfers. Is that correct?
They do not. That's correct.
And this was
Policy 7440.
And this was confirmed today, I understand, by the North Carolina School Board Association.
That's correct. Yes, sir. That is correct. Yes, sir.
So that is policy. So I would like to make sure that we understood that.
We do. You will notice that really upon further review of what's on your personnel report, the only transfers that are included are administrative transfers. So I think it may be good for us to seek clarification from the School Boards Association, because generally when you're talking about administrative transfer, you're talking about some contractual pieces.
Yeah, I think
so that's the only one that's on
Yeah,
it.
we know we will have to vote on the contracts.
correct.
Yes.
So we are being asked to vote on the contracts tonight, but not the actual transfer.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that should be then included on the personnel report request to approve contracts. Is that correct?
It is included as part of the administrative appointments and approval of administrative transfers.
Right. Does everybody on the board understand that when we vote for item administrative transfers number 1, which I think we've in addendum 1E, that we will be voting for the actual contracts which we went over in closed session? Any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
It's a shame that since I came on the board in December, and before that you'd been voting for transfers, then you'd been doing it wrong. And it makes us look bad to start with, and it's embarrassing. And then because of the situation that everybody's aware of, it looks underhanded, to say the least. And so, anyway, I just want to say that. Thank you.
I totally agree. I'm very embarrassed to find out at this time that it's been being done wrong. That
Mr. Page?
Yes.
I would like to put the clarification that it's not your ordinary transfers, and those transfers were put based on request. It's just administrative transfers that have been on your personnel report. Okay. That's the clarification that I was trying to make, Mr. Couttet.
Right.
Only the ones that control contracts.
Exactly.
Well, we need to make sure, again, I think we've been confused. Let's just put it that way in the past. But the most important thing is everybody understand we want to make sure we do everything correctly.
Absolutely.
So
I think Dr. Lassane is saying what's correct, which is that only administrative transfers have shown up on your personnel report, and those are on there because you have to approve their contracts. So that general administrative transfers have not shown up on the report.
Exactly.
well, I hope everyone understands we're not trying to make something more complicated than it is. Not trying to do anything underhand. We're trying to be out very transparent with what's going on. So we will at this.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Dr. Lassane, are you saying that we have been within the policy for the last
As
few
far
years?
as giving you administrative transfers because of that contractual connection.
So, because I know we've had other transfers, like somebody, they keep the same job description, but they change the home base or the the base where they're the office?
There are some of those that come to you, but I would have to go back and show you the reasons that those are coming to you, because there are some positions that we would have to notify you of that pursuant to the policy, which also involves notification.
And there have been a lot of transfers from teachers from one semester to the other. All that's gone across to us for approval, and now it really did not need to. All I'm interested in is making sure we do it right from now on. So I think that's what we need to concentrate on, that since our attorney has now made it clear on what we're doing.
Arguably, I mean, it's not a matter of doing it wrong. You have to be notified. So to the extent that you think you've been approving those, you technically have not.
Technically, right. We've been approving it, but it's really not been.
You've had to
really
be notified.
Not.
They can't just.
Well, it's been included in our consent agenda, so it's not been an individual part.
That's correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we clarify that for the public of where we're at on that situation, because I'm sure there will be some questions about it. Any other questions or comments to Dr. Lassane on the personnel report? Very good. Thank you, Dr. Lassane.
Thank you.
Also on our consent agenda, approval of minutes, we have minutes from May 1st, May 8th, and May 11th. Board members, you've had time to look through the minutes. Are there any questions or comments about the minutes of these three meetings? If not, this time I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion. Do I have a second to approve the consent agenda, including minutes? Second. I have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Carries. Consent agenda has been approved. Thank you very much. We now move into our recognition section. Mr. Todd Williams.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Johnson. I'm proud to recognize some of our state winners who participated in this year's Skills USA state competition in Greensboro. It's held at the end of April. And so I'd like to ask these folks to come up. I'll first recognize a state winner from West Iredell High School, Mr. Anthony Ross. He placed first place in customer service. And also I'd like to invite up his advisor, Miss Wendy Lane. So let's give this young man a round of applause. I've got some certificates up there. If I could get a couple of board members to come down and present them, I would love it.
Yeah. Chuck, the two of y'all go. Y'all both do with, I believe.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was lucky enough to be at the skills competition and got to talk to this young man. Let me tell you what, I believe he could sell ice to an Eskimo. Let me tell you, he can go at it, and he was so excited. And Miss Lane, you do so much for our youth. I wanted to thank you.
And again, I just want to say great job. I want to mention that Anthony competed in this same competition last year and finished second overall in the state. So this year he we finished second twice. Okay, I missed that. So congratulations again. And now I'd like to recognize members from CATS that competed in the manicuring competition. And I'd like for Mr. Rogers to come up too, if he would. And the following students, if you would come up. We have a first place winner, Jacqueline Castaneda. Second place in the state overall was Brasida Hernandez Garcia. Third place overall in the state competition was Leandria Turner. And fourth place overall was Ayana Maria Miller. I'd also invite up their instructor and advisor, Ms. Peggy Haynes. So folks, what you have here is first place, second place, third place, and fourth place in the state. We swept everything. So congratulations.
Could y'all move up?
Come up here.
Bill, open up and bring him up here,
Up
please.
here on top.
Bring him up.
Mr. Williams, y'all be going to the national, right?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. That's right.
So
I believe they're leaving at the end of this week. Is that right, Mr. Rogers? To compete Monday. And also Mr. Ross is, and Ms. Lane too. So that all of these students will compete at the national contest, and I believe that's in Louisville, Kentucky. So good luck.
I would also like to thank, this is a joint program with Mitchell Community College. I want to make sure to give those guys credit that this is one of our joint programs, and you can see the results of this, and thank them.
Thank you.
You went up there and thought they was going to do your nails, didn't you? While you were up there. There was 4 of them. I mean, come on.
No.
Yeah, I know Miss Haynes had her nails done there, I believe.
I have.
So when Mr. Howell was up there, did you have
though.
your nails done?
I did not get to do it.
Okay, well, I was just checking. Very good.
I went down to get my feet done.
Now, some exciting news that I don't know about everybody else, but I'm very, very, I'm sorry, both of these I am. But now we're going to have Mr. Johnson with our bus driver recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Lisa, are you here tonight? Yeah, here we go. And her principal's with her, so please come up.
Actually, most of my bus drivers, all of us are here for
Oh, my
Wow,
gosh.
that's good.
Good for y'all. Good for y'all. Let's make this a team effort then. And, yeah, folks, come on up.
Max, Central.
Max, go get it.
Central.
Board members, this is Miss Lisa Reddick. She is a TA bus driver that is based at Central Elementary School, but she also drives for North Middle and North High School. And I'm sure that everybody will remember the afternoon when the tornadoes passed through Iredell County. Lisa was out on her bus ride that afternoon when that happened up in the Central community. And she spotted a funnel cloud. We might even let you tell this story. You can tell it better than I can. But she had some middle school and high school kids left on her bus when she spotted that thing. And, this lady had the presence, the state of mind to take control of that situation. And so she stopped her bus, went to a neighbor's house there in the community, knocked on the door and explained, I've got some kids out here on this bus and we need a place to shelter during this storm. So they went into, I believe, the basement of that lady's home. And then she called all the parents of the kids that she had with her down there just to let them know that your kids are safe, they're with me, we're going to stay here in this place during the storm, and we'll call you when it's safe to get out and travel again. Now, I'll tell you something. They don't teach that in bus driving class. That right there is just resourcefulness and quick thinking. And, a lot of our drivers, and y'all can probably attest to this, sometimes they are frozen in fear, afraid that they're going to break a rule. But that day, Lisa threw the rules out the window and said, I'm going to do what's in the best interest of my kids. And that is exactly the kind of folks that we want out there on the front line every single day, serving our children. So, Lisa, tonight, I know this is just a mighty small thing, but we wanted to present you with this plaque, and on behalf of the entire school system, to you and all of our drivers who have arguably the hardest job in the school system, we wanted to say thank you and commend you for the excellent job you did that day. And I hope this little letter of commendation will in some way recognize you for the wonderful work that you do, all of you, on a daily basis. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Very good. It just shows that we have some of the greatest employees in the world. And thank you very much. Now, Mr. Johnson, I think you've got some more exciting news for us.
Sure do. Thank you, Mr. Page. I'm going to call to the microphone Commissioner Haupt. He's standing in the back of the room there. And Billy Wells, you've brought some friends with you tonight. And Mr. Wells, of course, is the principal of the Agriculture and Science Early College on the campus of North Iredell High School. And so tonight we have a very, very special announcement, and this one involves a little bit of money. So I tell you what, Mr. Page, if you would appoint somebody to grab that check down there and join them down front.
Who's not gone now?
You hadn't gone, Charles.
Go, Charles. Go get it.
This is a nice little rounded off figure of $460,000 as a gift to the school system. So, Mr. Kelly, if you'll grab that check, we're going to present it down front.
You gotta have to leave the check here, though, Charles. You can't take it with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, zero.
I know everybody is familiar with the Golden Leaf Foundation, which is a group of great North Carolinians who try to do good in the communities that serve underprivileged children, areas that have depressed economies. They are also looking for innovation. And so the county commissioners, Mr. Haupt here, reached out to us back in the winter and encouraged us to apply for this grant through the Golden Leaf Foundation to support the opening of the early college up at North Iredell. Mr. Haupt, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about this.
Okay. Good evening, all. I'm here on behalf of Iredell County Board of Commissioners and the citizens of Iredell County. I want to thank the Golden Leaf Foundation for investing in Iredell County. I believe you are a great investment that they have chosen because you continue with your partnership with Mitchell College to be trend-setting, not in just the state of North Carolina, but the country. You now have 3 early colleges, an AP Academy, CATS, and more. You continue to try and get your kids ready for our college and our workforces, as we've seen in the presentations before this. You guys continue to give our citizenry a return on their investment, getting kids ready for workforces, colleges, whatever their life story may be. So I want to congratulate you on your innovations and what you're doing. And on behalf of Iredell County and our citizens, I want to tell you we appreciate it and congratulations. And again, thank you to the Golden Leaf Foundation for investing in Iredell County.
Good job.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Haupt, and thank the Golden Leaf.
And I want to just add, while they're doing their picture there, that Teresa Hayes, the principal at North Iredell, has been instrumental in helping this early college come to pass and in welcoming this endeavor on her campus. Alicia Eller and Terry Hutchins, our principals of our 2 earlier early colleges, worked tirelessly on this application and on a site visit that was required before these funds were distributed to us. So there was a great deal of hard work and behind-the-scenes effort that took place from a lot of different people to make this happen. And that's one of the exciting things about collaboration. When people work together and pull together, some pretty darn good things happening for kids. So thank all of you for your effort in helping us secure this funding.
And Dr. Taylor, thank you. I know you did a lot of work with that. Thank you very much for that. Again, another reason Iredell-Statesville School is the greatest school system in the state of North Carolina.
Mr. Page,
yes.
Before we move in, I've got a couple introductions from the personnel report. Would this be an appropriate time to do that?
It would be a great time, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if Ms. Keeley Ward is here, if you'll stand up, please. As you know, we had a vacancy at Celeste Tinkle Elementary School. Mr. John Ribbick, the current principal, will be joining us at central office later this summer. And so we held a series of interviews, and I'm happy tonight to present the committee and the administration's recommendation for the new principal at Celeste Tinkle Elementary School, Keeley Ward. Keeley is a resident of Harmony, and I believe a lifelong resident of Iredell County. She's a graduate of the Iredell-Statesville schools. Keeley got her Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communication from Catawba College in 2001. She obtained her Master's of Art in Middle School Education back in 2006. Here in our school system, Keeley has wore many, many hats and has done a stellar job at all of her endeavors. She was an English teacher at North Iredell Middle School. Keeley was also the 21st Century Literacy Coach at Statesville Middle School. She was the IB Coordinator and Instructional Facilitator at Northview IB. And then she moved to her current assignment, which is Assistant Principal at Celeste Tinkle in 2014. This young lady loves children. She loves our community. She's very excited about the assignment that you have given her, and we expect to see great things as Keeley takes over the reins there at Celeste. So please join me in welcoming this young lady to her new role as principal at Celeste Tinkle. NB Mills also had a vacancy, and Miss Shalia Burnett, is she here tonight? Yes, there she is. Miss Burnett is going to be taking over with the departure of Kim Mitchell, who is transferring down to Shepherd Elementary School. Miss Burnett comes to us by way of Durham. She also has a very, very impressive resume. She received her bachelor's degree from Meredith College in 2003. She received her master's in school counseling from North Carolina Central University in Durham in 2006. She went on to North Carolina Central and got her master's degree in school administration, and she is currently a doctoral student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where she expects to be finished with that sometime next year, 2018. This new job might slow her down a little bit, though, so we won't hold her to that. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the assignment there as well. She has worked for North Granville Middle School, where she was the AVID district director. She worked for the City of Medicine Academy with the Durham Public Schools as a counselor and student services coordinator. She was also the assistant principal at the School of Medicine there in Durham. She worked at Southern Middle School in Person County as an assistant principal, and her current assignment is Lucas Middle School in Durham, where she serves as an assistant principal. When I called her to let her know that she was the committee and the administration's selection for this position, I've never seen a person more excited about taking on a new role. And so it is with great enthusiasm that we present Ms. Barnett to you, and we look forward to getting her in our community soon and started at the school. So please join me in welcoming our new principal at NB Mills, Ms. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, and welcome, ladies. That ends our recognition section. So we'll move into our non-consent agenda. Dr. Blattner, I believe you're up first with the contracts with CCTL. That you do not look like
I
Dr.
am not Dr. Blattner. Dr. Blattner did present these items to you Monday evening at the Committee of the Whole meeting and hopefully answered any questions that you may have at that time. But the first item is the CCTL approval for the technology refresh. Those computers have been utilized for 4 years, and based on the lease cycle, they are now due to be refreshed. The recommendation is to do a lease purchase agreement and enter into a 3-year lease with the remaining devices. So they have given you the details there. A portion of the computers would be purchased initially, and the other computers would be a 3-year lease.
We went over this at the Committee of the Whole meeting. Board members, are there any other questions? The chair would entertain a motion to approve the CCTL contract.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the CCTL contract. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. No. Opposed, no. Thank you. I guess you're Dr. Blattner again.
I am. The second item to present for voting tonight is the Category 2 E-rate contract approval. These contracts were bid out through a process using the North Carolina state contract, which is established through their processes and procedures. They're used for internal connectivity and wireless. These projects will provide access points that can better handle large numbers of computers in larger commons areas in the school, create outdoor access to wireless signals in outdoor classroom areas, stadiums at most of the schools, provide a 10 gig connectivity for all schools, and as well as moving the main wiring closet at North Iredell High School to a more secure location. All of these projects have been funded 60% from the Category 2 E-rate funds and 40% from connectivity, so there's a net cost of $0 for the district. All of these are being paid for through other funding sources through the state and through their connectivity funds.
Once again, we covered this in detail at our Committee of the Whole meeting. Board members, any questions or comments on the Category 2 E-rate contracts?
I just want to mention we did discuss this last Monday, and for the audience, I questioned why there were two charges for Statesville High and Crossroads, because they're under the same roof, versus South because they have IB in South, and I was told that South has one
South
school
is one
code.
school. It is one school.
Right.
The IB program is a program that is a school. It is a program within that school. It is not a separate school at South. For the Statesville High School and Crossroads, those are separate schools with separate school numbers, with separate principals. And so that is why there are two specific charges for those schools, because they are billed separately. South is all one school, one principal for the entire program.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
The only comment I'd like to make is there was a lot of work pulling this together with all the detail for the schools, and especially when it's zero funding to our budget for doing that. So the staff needs to be thanked for doing such a fine job of breaking that down for us. And I'd also like to make a motion that we accept as presented the Category ZE rate contract approval.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion second to approve the Category E rate contract approval. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Carries. Thank you. Dr. Taylor. Now we'll have C, Ms. Tina Wilson, child nutrition price increases.
Good evening. I'm here to present to you the price increases for the 17-18 school year. I presented to you last year. I recommend that we go up 5 cents on breakfast, since we have not went up in 3 years, and also based on federal guidelines to go up 10 cents on lunch again this year. Are there any questions about the increases?
Again, this was spoken to at the CAL meeting. Any comments or questions, Ms. Wilson? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to approve those price increases. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to approve the child nutrition price increases. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Now we will go to D, child nutrition bids.
Yes, I recommended to the board last week that for the 17-18 school year to roll over all bids. Everyone that we order from has agreed to roll over with no price increase. Any further questions on that?
Any comments or questions?
I'd like to say you got some bad press this past week, and it was not fair. As a teacher, I'd like to have a nickel every time I gave a child lunch money. And I assure anyone sitting in this room today that no child goes hungry at our schools.
No.
One way or another, that child is given lunch, and they are not made to feel bad. So I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I, too, want to comment that you're doing an excellent job. Just like rolling these bids over, we appreciate your work. Are there any other discussions on the child nutrition bids? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to pass these bids.
Motion to accept the child nutrition bids as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve child nutrition bids. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Miller, roofing bids.
Chairman Page, members of the board, Superintendent Johnson. As we discussed at the CAL meeting, as part of our capital improvements projects for the summer and the coming year, we have 4 major roofing projects, which you have bids in front of you. I would recommend we accept the bids for Sharon Elementary School, South High, Statesville Middle, and Troutman Middle. Be glad to answer any questions.
Again, we went over these at the CAL meeting. Any comments or questions of Dr. Miller about the roofing bids?
I just wish you'd get JMS Southeast, which is in Iredell County, get his pencil a little sharper, and he could have got all 4 bids.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 and 2. So anyway, and I'll make a motion we accept Dr. Miller's recommendation on the roof.
I have a motion to accept the roofing bids. Do I get a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion on roofing bids? If not, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Miller. Continue budget resolution. Ms. White.
Thank you. This time every year, the board needs to pass a resolution, a continuation budget resolution, because we do not have a budget ready to pass for the next school year. So the resolution simply says that we will continue to operate under the budget that exists for the 16-17 school year until we have a budget ready to pass for the 17-18 school year. Are there any questions?
Ms. White, have you gotten any updates from Raleigh on?
I think their goal is to have a conference budget this week, but I haven't seen anything.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions for Ms. White on the continuing budget resolution? If not, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Carries. Excuse me. No. Okay. Don't scare me. Anyway, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. White. Now, you also have committed special fund, revenue fund, student fees.
Thank you. We have a couple of student fees that are in our other special revenue fund. There will be some unspent fees available at the end of this year that we would like for the board to commit to use for those intended purposes. The technology fee, we'd like for the board to restrict that to be used for the technology needs to support the middle and the high schools. Those are the students that pay those fees. And the driver's ed fees, we'd like the board to commit to use those funds for driver's ed, as those fees are paid by driver's ed participant students.
We discussed this in detail at the committee of the whole meeting. Board members, any questions or comments from Ms. White on this? If not, all in favor, aye. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I need a motion, don't I? I'm trying to move us along here. All right. I got a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Now, is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you, Mrs. White. Board attorney contracts. We have a committee that has met, and the committee has asked us to table this, postpone this vote until, for more information, they will present it to us at the July Cal meeting, and then the contracts would be presented at July, which is where we vote on them anyway. We vote on those contracts in July. The chair would entertain a motion to table the board attorney contract vote until we get more information at the July Cal meeting.
I'll make a motion that we table this until the July Cal meeting. At that time, we can get more information.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table the board attorney contract. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you. Next, Mr. Howell, policy 3620, extracurricular activities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had gone and visited, as I had reported back to you, at the high schools to add that one paragraph into this policy, and I'm requesting that the board approve this. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer those for you.
This has been sitting on the table for a month. We, board members, do you have any other questions or comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to pass policy 3620.
Would you like to make that motion?
So moves.
And I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Pass policy 3620, extracurricular activities. Any more comments or questions? If not, all in favor, aye. 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 Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Armstrong, we have a, that was on there. We have a, I thought we added that, but there it is.
It was on there.
It's already on there. Hey, you're there. We're not going to do it twice.
We'll
just do it one time, all right?
Appreciate that,
Yeah,
Mr. Page.
yeah, thank you. Cultural China Summer Tour.
Board of Education members, Mr. Johnson, have an agenda item for Cultural China Summer Tour for 2017. 6 students and 7 staff members from Iredell-Statesville schools have been invited by New Oasis and TBI to participate in the Search for Cultural Power China Tour for this summer of 2017. The 2017 summer tour is an all-expense-paid trip provided by New Oasis and TBI as part of our cultural exchange program. The tour dates are from July 20th through July 30th. Students and staff will visit a variety of historical and landmark sites in China, tour and participate in student-based learning opportunities, and build a broader understanding of our global economy. And I have an updated itinerary that I've been handed, but if you have any questions, I'll try to entertain those questions.
Mr. Armstrong, how were the students and the staff selected? And do they include the whole county?
Okay.
I mean,
before this trip was planned, everyone that participated was encouraged to become mentors for the students that had visited us previously, and they were told that the students that became mentors or worked closely with the previous programs of students that were here would be given first consideration for this trip. So it's basically those students and adults that put work in and been working real closely with the program.
Do the 13, does it capture the all aspects of our county, the north, south, east, west?
You know, I'm not sure about, I don't have the names of those students and staff members, but if anyone here can answer that question. But I know that it was a level playing field when everyone was, basically say if there are future trips, the criteria will be those students and those staff members that work closely with the program. I wish I had more information, but that's all.
My comments, I know last year, this was one of the most exciting opportunities for our children and some of our staff. It's an unbelievable opportunity. And Mr. Johnson, thank you for getting us involved in this. Thank the board for allowing this to go forward. It has been, when we heard those young people come in here and tell us about their trip to China, it was so exciting. Just, I felt like I had been to China with them. It was great because, to be honest, not many people get that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And thank you for providing this opportunity to our children. That is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it's just a tremendous experience, and I'm thrilled we're able to do it again. So thank you for bringing this to us. Any other comments or questions? If not, all in favor, aye? I'm sorry, I need a motion. I'm trying my best to get going here. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we support the cultural summer tour 2017.
Now I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Appreciate that. Wow, we just rolling on here. Dr. Taylor back again, this time as yourself.
Yes, sir.
How about
I'm representing
that? Okay.
myself tonight.
The Golden Leaf grant approval.
So earlier this evening, you heard that Iredell-Statesville Schools had been awarded $460,000 from the Golden Leaf Foundation to help with the implementation of the Agriculture and Science Early College on the campus at North Iredell High School. Pursuant to your board policy, in order for the district to accept any funding over $50,000, that does have to be approved by the board. So we are coming to you tonight asking for your approval for us to be able to accept that grant so that we can move forward.
Well, Mr. Chairman, since we've already written a check, I think we need to approve this.
You mean we cashed a check?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Charles
Well,
Terry.
I don't see the check, Charles. What'd you do with the check?
Check his pockets before he leaves tonight.
I make a motion to accept the Golden Leaf grant approval as presented.
We have a motion and a second, and I really don't believe there'll be any discussion on this one, but is there?
This is just a one-year grant.
It's a two-year
Two-year
grant. It's every 2 years.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye. And anybody who wants to vote no needs to probably leave at this time. Are there any no's? Very good. It passes unanimously. And once again, thank you, Dr. Taylor, for the work you and the other people did on that. Thank you. Now, back to you, Dr. Taylor, for proposed first policy readings. These policies do not take a vote, and these policies were gone over in detail at the Cal meeting. So give us the abbreviated version.
A brief overview. There are 5 policies that are available on the table for first reading tonight. The first policy is Policy 1310, Parental Involvement. This policy has some minor changes pertaining to language regarding state board policies, and these are required changes. Second policy is Policy 3410, which is Testing and Assessment Program. Once again, these changes are either required or strongly recommended by the School Board Association. Clarification on exemption of students from CTE assessments, permissible exemptions of the testing window consistent with DPI testing, some other legal references. Policy 3470, these are a little more significant changes, but most of these changes are also, once again, required changes to the policy regarding the processes in which parents have appeals rights if students are assigned to the alternative schools. This is, even though these processes have not been outlined like this in policy, this follows very closely our current processes in ISS, so implementing these policies will not be a major change to the processes that we already have in place. The final policy that I have that will require voting next month is changes to the attendance policy. And these changes were brought forth to us and recommended by our high school principals regarding the process for makeup time in our high schools. They are recommending that makeup time be eliminated for students who are passing these courses regarding a certain number of absences. And so they have asked that students who have 8 or fewer absences, whether they're excused or non-excused, with an average of 60 or higher, those students would receive credit for the course and receive that grade for the course. Students who have 9 or more absences in the course must score at least a 70 in the course and on the final exam in order to receive credit for that course. Students who earn less than that, between a 60 and a 69, would show a 59 on the report card and would need to go through the credit recovery process. And the reason that they had that differential in there for those students is they want to make sure that before those students move on to the next course is that they have a solid foundation in the current course. And so by going through credit recovery, we're changing some processes with credit recovery and how we're doing that. Then we can really target that intervention to focus on the students' skill gaps in that course that they may have missed by being absent, and to try to shore that up. As we have implemented a technology one-to-one in our district over the last several years, it really has made it much easier for students who are absent due to illness or car accidents or things like that to be able to keep up with their assignments much more so than they would have in the past when they have to have a teacher coming out once a week or something to do homebound. So it's much easier for us to kind of keep those assignments made up as they go. But once again, those recommendations are being brought forward as a request from the high school principals. The other policies that were on the list were required changes, but minor technical statements and updates to some legal references.
Any comments or questions for Dr. Taylor? Very good, thank you. Now we're going to first policies, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Board of Education members and Mr. Johnson, I will go through these. I'll be very brief. Policy 4150, school assignment, in subsection E. C clarifies the length of a transfer or reassignment of a student in foster care will be consistent with legal requirements, and there are also some other updates. In policy 4250/5075/7316, the North Carolina Address Confidentiality Program, for clarity, adds explicit notice requirement for individuals participating in the North Carolina Address Confidentiality Program who wishes to keep their home address confidential. Policy 4700, student records, it adds information to Section D based on existing law pertaining to the records of students participating in the North Carolina Address Confidentiality Program, including adding a requirement for a participant to provide an authorization card to the principal. So anytime someone that's part of that program, they must always have an updated card that will signify that. Policy 6140, student wellness. This policy has been updated to reflect the final rule implementing the wellness policy requirements of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act and changes to the State Board of Education Healthy Active Children policy. And it has about 9 significant updates to policy 6140. In the CAL meeting, I was letting you all know that we would have our student wellness plan that was developed by our local folks, and I do have that plan. I emailed it to you all earlier. You may haven't had a chance to look it over, but we do have it in place so that this policy can move forward. Okay, policy 6320, use of student transportation services. It clarifies the appropriate use of school buses and activity buses in sections A and B It updates terminology in Section C and updates school board education policy sites and the legal references. Policy 4125, homeless students, it updates the terminology for CTE and AIG services in the instructor paragraph. Also updates the State Board of Education policy site in the legal references. Policy 4302-R, rules for the use of seclusion and restraint in the schools. It clarifies the requirements for parental notice and also makes other editorial changes throughout. A new policy, our meal charge policy, basically outlines the process for meal charges and collections. And policy 3620, athletic eligibility for transfer students, it explains the criteria used in granting athletic eligibility for out-of-district transfers. Do you have any questions about any of these policies?
No comments or questions. Thank you, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Page.
That ends our part of
M.
Oh, that's right. About to leave you out there. I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that to me. We've added at the voted. We added M to the policies. That is a change order for the North Iredell High School project. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Page, members of the board, Mr. Johnson, thank you. I apologize for the lateness of getting this to you, but a lot of things came together at the last minute. In overview, excuse me, the additional parking at both schools was required because of the expansion of the facility. The original project was to replace the auditoriums where they were. Both principals asked that the new auditoriums be moved out into the parking lot. They wanted to keep the old auditoriums and renovate them. So that had additional parking requirements to meet code. At South Iredell High School, you purchased 194 acres of property, which allowed South Iredell to expand and accumulate all of that extra parking in that area. North Iredell did not have additional land purchased because it's landlocked. So we had to figure out how in that campus we could put additional parking to meet code requirement. In doing so, Dr. Miller and I came up that we would decide to do a master site plan for both sites. So we would look at the future for all of the area that we have on the site. So I've met with both principals and athletic directors. They're aware of what we're trying to do to meet the code and to meet future development. Now at North Iredell, we put the parking behind the field house and gymnasium. We also put some additional parking behind the science building along where the baseball field used to be. And we put additional 90-some spaces. But in that master planning, we wanted to include tennis courts, which is the request of the school, to move them back to the back and to bring them closer with the two existing courts. So in the back area, you're now going to have baseball, softball, you're going to have tennis courts, you're going to have a restroom facility and concession stands, which makes an administration a lot easier to govern these during athletic events. Now, this change order is in three parts. One, we had to add standpipes to meet a DOI requirement for standpipes in the thing. I know, Mr. Gallion, it was kind of odd, but it went between DOI and Iredell County Plan Review, and after 6 months of battling it, we gave up and said we'll put them in. The additional parking is a requirement. We put an additional $250,000 allowance into the North Iredell bid to begin with because we knew we had to have additional parking and we wanted to allot some money in there. And then in the master planning, we had added the tennis courts. Now, Dr. Miller contributed that money out of capital funds because that was never a part of the original scope of work for the arts buildings. So your total change order is $368,000. It's a net of $183,000 to the actual North Iredell contract, which can be absorbed by contingency. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, if you would indulge me, this month will start one of the, or if not the most prestigious tennis tournament in the world at Wimbledon. That's the home of tennis. Tennis was known as the king or game of kings because traditionally the only people that could play the game were the royals. And now that all us commoners can play because of hard surface courts and so forth, millions of people enjoy the game. It's one of the few sports that you can play from 6 to 60 really easy. Now, understanding the game, I coached the sport for 14 years in high school, enjoyed every minute of it. But placement of the courts, those courts that are there now are not going to be demolished for parking. And I'm proposing, because of the placement of the new courts, understanding that those of you who have ever been to a high school softball game, you know how much noise is made. And if you know tennis, you know that's one of the no-nos. You don't holler during a point, and you don't have a lot of noise. To me, I was very disappointed when North Iredell allowed 2 of the 4 lit courts to be demolished for a concession stand. Now, although that group has done tremendous things at North Iredell, I love them to death for what they do, but it goes to saying that we really don't care about tennis. And that's unfortunate for all the players. Even the 2 lit courts, which were proposed to be resurfaced or redone eventually, you're right beside a concession stand. If there's a baseball, softball game, sometimes both of them at the same time, then there's a lot of noise. And if you've ever played tennis, you know this is not a sport that you cheer and yell like football, basketball, lacrosse, and all the other sports. But it's sort of like golf. It needs to be quiet and needs to be respectful. I always try to teach my players that they had a responsibility to the game, not only their team. So I'm going to ask you that if we're going to spend money, that we spend money on the courts we have now, add 2 courts down there where they can be added. You can light it now because you got a building that's about 150 feet away, the auditorium. It's also available to have bathrooms there. So I'm going to ask that you reject this motion for the new tennis courts because of their placement in relationship to the softball field. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Jackson?
I don't understand tennis a whole lot, but was that considered, Mr. Jackson, that they take the existing courts and refurbish? Is that what you're asking, Mr. Howell? Why didn't the proposal include refurbishing what we had already?
No, the courts that were built when the school was new are up there on top of the hill. Now, they were lit. And I sent you an email on the how we got the additional courts. Well, they had 8. Well, they chose to destroy 2 of them, of the 4 lit courts. And the newer ones that were there in 2003, they were not lit. No one took the time to request lighting, or if they did, it never got, done. But anyway, what I'm saying is you're not going to use that for parking. It's proposed to use as a drill pad for the band or ROTC. I would say building courts beside the softball field, and if you've ever been to a high school softball game, you know how much noise they make. And I would never tell those girls to not cheer or not chant. But Why would you want to put a tennis court and give them that situation? And what you're saying to the tennis players, in my opinion, is you don't count. And that's what infuriates me as a former tennis coach.
Ms. Haynes, to answer your question, the two courts that are left behind the science building and the two that were ripped up were in serious need of repair. They need to be totally taken out. The light poles were rotted. We had several issues with the light poles and the wiring. So all of that needed to come out anyway. The proximity of the 4 tennis courts in the front of the school and the 2 that will be replaced at the top, the coach cannot watch both groups at one time. You've got parents going back and forth. There's not a good way, even with construction, even when it's finished, there's not a good way to get to both of them. With this new product, which we're showing on the bottom here with those 4 tennis courts, the 2 are just sitting up on top in that flat area. So a tennis coach and parents are in one area. They can look at all of the tennis matches at one time. And that was the reason it was. And it was requested by the tennis coach and the principal at North Iredell.
Okay.
And Dr. Miller's got something he wants to say, too.
So the courts, well, this is why we like things early and not.
Again, my apologies, ma'am.
I know. So why are we doing, why do you need it tonight? Why do you need us to vote on it tonight?
A lot of this work needs to be completed by August 1st because we have also in that print you'll see the early college program. A lot of this work has to be completed by that time. And we've been working on logistics to try and get everything completed. Now, the tennis courts will not be completed by August 1st, and then the staff knows that. But we'll have the pad down, we'll have it ready, we'll have the fencing going on, and as soon as we can get it completed during the course of the season, if it's finished by that time, it will. But as far as parking and the additional parking to meet the requirements, we have to be done by August 1st.
But do you hear Mr. Howell's concerns?
Yes, I do hear those concerns, but I also understand the requirements and requests from tennis coaches to have everything put together and 4 new lit courts for North Iredell. And the economy of scale to put them in at this time during the paving of the parking lots makes a lot of sense.
So when this is finished, there are going to be 6 courts instead of 4?
Be four courts in the one area, and just up on the hill.
The 2 courts up on the hill will be the 2 courts, 2 of the 4 that are there now.
Yes.
2 of those will be lit up. How many of those will be lighted?
We'll have to redo those 2 up there as well and relit the lights.
And you'll light the
Yes.
4?
The light 4 and the light 2 up top.
And so you're placing the 4 down toward the front. I don't see a plat that shows me where they go.
If you look at the,
They're down below
yes, down below along the old baseball field.
on the right as you go out the parking lot.
No,
No.
not there. No, as you go up over the hill.
Over the
Over
hill.
the hill past the science building.
Okay.
That's going to be parking down through the left behind the science building. Then those new ones are going to be down, and that's probably, what, a 30-foot elevation difference, 20-foot elevation difference?
It's
20.
at least
20.
So you're
Yeah.
looking at the idea that
You're within walking distance, but logistically,
and you could find a spot to watch all 6 courts
yes,
Right between them.
between the 2.
yes,
And that
And-
was worked out between. I understand what Mr. Howell said.
and have restroom facilities right there.
I also understand Wilmington. When one court's playing over here, they're playing another court over here, and they're yelling for this court, and it comes to this court. So, you know, the noise, I understand the noise, softball, difference between softball and tennis, but at the same time, there's going to be noise. And there's noise in tennis a lot, too. They even throw rackets in them.
That could be a scheduling issue with the athletic director.
You have to worry about that. But I'm not sure if you've worked out everything in reference to the water plan and the lighting plan, and you get 2 additional courts, and they're all 6 lighted. You've worked out all those logistics. I'm sure that's a good spot. I think it's a good place. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that to get 2 extra courts, right now we have 4 courts in North Iredell. You're fixing
seem to have 6 courts at Mill. No, we've got 6.
You've got 4 that are in good condition, 2 that are in terrible condition.
6 and a half, 8, right?
You get 6 that are in good shape.
Yeah.
And you could watch all 6 at the same time.
That's correct.
Does this include?
If you've ever lived correctly, you go to a tennis tournament in which you've got half of your team at one high school and half of your team at the other high school. So to be able to watch all 6 courts could be very good.
Well, you have simultaneous matches going on.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to say that. I'm just mentioning the idea that it might be. I think it's a good thing to get the 6 courts that are lighted, even if they're noisy.
We have a total of 8 courts when you finish. Is that right, Mr. Jackson?
6.
You'll have 6 because they'll turn the lower 4 that were there built back in 2001, 2. They'll turn those into either a drill pad or practice area for the band. They're in need of repair too now.
Okay. Just to correct Mr. Howell, when North was built, we had no tennis courts.
They were there soon. My question is the 2 oldest courts that you've ripped up 2 of them, but you still have 2. And you're going to totally redo those courts, fencing, and you'll have to come in and repave and everything. What's the timeline on that? And do you have the money?
Yeah.
You have the money, and you're going to get right to that?
Yes.
Let me speak to this. The courts were in our capital budget, which I presented to you and you approved. And those courts, by piggybacking them on the transportation piece in Rob's budget, saved us some significant dollars. That's the reason we piggyback that in there. We will pay the county back through our capital funds for those. But yes, those 2 courts are the primary objective right now, to do those this summer and get those 2 out of the way. Then the other 4 courts may not be totally complete, but they will use the existing 4 courts until they are complete. Now, you have bring up some good points, and all these things were brought up in the discussion. Mr. Jackson had a process that he went through in the planning stages of the construction. We've had some change in personnel since then. There's been a lot of things going on, but that master plan was set up. Now, the concerns we had were supervision by the coach. The new building is actually going to block the view down to the other 4 courts, so that a coach is going to have to run back and forth between them. He can't really see. So this is going to provide better supervision for administration. When you have paid events, and sometimes, not very often, but sometimes tennis does happen, when softball or a makeup game or whatever, but it doesn't always happen because sometimes they're away, sometimes they're home. But it also gave the tennis players an opportunity to have dressing facilities, bathroom facilities, and concessions available for those parents. So when you put everything into place, your plan is a good plan, and it was talked about and it was discussed. The feeling was by the administration, by the coaches, and by us that this was the best option. Is it perfect? No. But it is the best option under these conditions. And we'll just have to respectfully disagree on that. But the money is in the budget. The reason we put it in with the construction was to save money. And we will be paying the county back through our capital funding. But that funding was in place for the courts. We also will be doing courts at West Iredell, which is in need as well. So just to help clarify some of that, I thought that might help. I'd be glad to answer questions on the capital side.
But now, wait a minute, the West Iredell, that's another financial matter. That's not included.
That's nothing to do with
That nothing to do with this. That's capital. It's in the capital budget, which I presented. Probably those courts will be done out of the lottery proceeds. Some is out of lottery proceeds, some out of the capital. But our courts are in really, really bad shape. Mr. Howell knows it is very difficult to play on a court that has cracks an inch wide. You cannot play on those surfaces. It's not really safe to play on those surfaces. So we're trying to, this is one of those deferred maintenance issues that we've talked about before. We're trying to get these things taken care of as soon as we can. So we would appreciate support from the board, but Be glad to answer questions.
Ms. Hayes, Ms. Teresa still here, your principal? Yes. She still support this? I know I can't see. We can't see you out there, Harley, but is this?
Well, respectfully, I disagree with you when you put courts beside a softball field. It makes it tough on tennis players. And I'm sorry you can't see that. But obviously, when you have 4 lit courts and you choose to let somebody build a building on 2 of them, that tells me the story right there. And I might tell you that your coach doesn't agree with you, but she's afraid to say anything. But so anyway, I'm going to ask the board not to approve that we could add 2 courts and you'd still have 6 down where the 4 courts are today, and you can light them. And you'd have the courts, and then instead of being apart, you'd be all together. And you're going to have a bathroom facility, like I said, 100 feet away. So to me, that gets you away from baseball, softball, and there's still a concession stand up there if there's a booster club person in it to wait on tennis parents. But tennis is a stepchild of most high school programs, and I just hate to see them put off on like this. Thank you.
Mr. Howell, point of logistics, the building, yes, is only 150 feet away from the tennis courts down there, but access to the restrooms is all around on the other side. So it's probably 250 to 300 feet away from restroom facilities at the lower courts.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Jackson, is this having to be presented to the county commissioners, or is this just for us for a change order?
Just for us.
Okay.
It's with our budget.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the change order for North Iredell High School's project. I'll make a motion for that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the change order for the North Iredell tennis project. Any other comments?
Let me ask one more facetious question. None of this affects the water situation in Harmony, does it? Just thought I'd ask.
To make this clear, these courts are in the master plan.
Yes, sir.
That was approved and we've been working from. The money was already available in capital funds and already had been approved.
Yes, sir.
So all we're doing is just kind of moving around. We're putting it in with the paving so that we will gain some cost savings from having it all done at one time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And it's within budget.
Okay. I've got a motion and a second to approve the change order for North Iredell project. Any further discussion?
Call the question. Call the question.
I'm going to. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
No. No.
2 noes. Motion carries 4-2. Thank you. I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda, and now we move into public comments. It's time for public comments. Dr. Miller, would you bring the sign-up sheet forward? Thank you. While the board welcomes our shareholders' views, please remember comments should not be slanderous or personal in nature. Our attorney will warn speakers if comments become out of line. At the recommendation of our attorney, the chair would have the right to terminate speakers if they are out of line. At this time, we have 3 speakers. We will start with them, with Mr. Roger Campbell. Please come up, state your name and the topic that you're going to speak on, and you will have 3 minutes.
My name is Roger Campbell. I am here to speak to you tonight on the topic of South Iredell High School. Mr. Chairman, Board, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Cute, thank you for the time you are giving tonight to let the process of democracy carry on. Democracy is a system of government in which the citizens exercise power directly or elect representatives from among themselves to form a governing body. The Iredell-Statesville School Boards of Education will provide leadership for a system of schools that enables all students to achieve their academic potential and lead productive and rewarding lives. The Board of Education will achieve the mission through effective policy and decision-making utilizing the fundamentals of continuous improvement. Now, I'm pretty sure that sounds very familiar to y'all. That statement is your mission statement taken off of your front page with your pictures on it. When you took the oath, you accepted this mission statement. As a board, you are charged with the oversight of our school and its personnel. When the process of discipline for our actions cannot be dealt with on a lower level, it then becomes your task to make the best decisions that you can based on all the information that is given to you. The situation at South Iredell has now reached your attention level. Based on all the facts that have been presented to you, you now have the unenviable responsibility to make decisions that will affect people's livelihood. I will neither try to defend or condone the actions of all the parties involved. I will only challenge the board to investigate to the fullest of its powers, fairly and unbiased. We owe it to our children to show them that we care about the environment that they are taught in as well as coached in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Now, Ms. Deanne Lipe.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I have some copies of the letter. If anybody would like a copy of that, I'll be glad to have that passed around. Again, my name is Deanne Light. My husband, Rob, myself, and our 2 children are all South Iredell graduates. This is my son, Joey. He obtained his IB diploma from South Iredell. And Mr. Kelly will remember me from nursing school a couple years ago, Deanne Blackwelder. God expects us to honor those in leadership positions, even when they aren't always worthy of that honor. We as a family have tried to do that. God also expects us to expose unjust deeds. An incident happened in 2013 at Mooresville High School involving my son. The head coach grabbed Joey by his face mask and started berating him. He was called derogatory names, that he was an embarrassment to his team and to his coaches. He stated that he would make sure that Joey did not receive a scholarship and play a sport at the college level. Joey was subjected to this verbal abuse at least 6 times that night alone. As defined by the board rules, that coach crossed the line of intimidation and bullying. We met with Bobby Deal, Kel Goins, and Tim Ivey. We were told that we were up against a state championship winning football coach. Our son left college football on the field at South Iredell High School. Does the head coach really have that much power? And do you, as a board, give him that much power? There is no record of that meeting except some handwritten notes that our athletic director took, and it wasn't his responsibility to document, but thankfully he did. The principal will tell you that he's had no complaints about South Iredell High School's head coach. He's mistaken. The report required by your board policy was never completed. You hired an attorney to investigate reported verbal abuse and bullying. We were on that list, we were told, to be contacted. We were never interviewed by an attorney that our tax money helped to fund. Your report is incomplete. Now we hear that there's a possibility of IB certified teachers and our athletic director of the year being transferred, but the football coach is getting to stay. That will be detrimental to anyone who feels the need to step forward about bullying. Our son moved on and he's flourished. But what about all those other boys that we don't know about or that have been on the receiving end of that man's explosions, who don't have a good home life? They don't have somebody to build them back up and support them. That's what this is all about. It is your responsibility to make sure that no more players are allowed to endure being robbed of their self-esteem and opportunities. Our family is watching you. Our community is watching you.
Thank you.
The boys are depending on you.
Thank you, Ms. Light. I appreciate your comments. Now we would move on to Joey Light. Mr. Light, just state your name and what you're discussing.
My name is Joey Lipe, and I'm speaking about the issue at South Iredell. As my mom already talked about, the incident that happened, I'm not going to harp on it. The first thing I would want to talk about is that teachers, coaches, administrators, they're supposed to be role models. They're people for me to look up to, and I'm supposed to respect them. They're supposed to be there for me if I have an issue. They're supposed to teach me how to be a good man. They're supposed to teach me important life values. So do you want a bully of a coach who runs up and down the sideline dropping F-bombs so loud that everybody in the stands can hear it? Do you want somebody who tells me and other players that he's going to take away any opportunity they have to play a sport in college? Is that what kind of coach you want? That's a bully. And then what the principal said, he had no complaints. And as my mother stated, we had a meeting with him, so that's a lie. I know other players that I played with had a meeting with him, had issues that they voiced with administration. Again, another lie. And excuse the language, but this is what I was called that night. I was called an effing dumbass and an embarrassment to Coach Miller and the rest of the coaches. I was called an embarrassment to my team and to my school. So now I'm going to ask, who is really the embarrassment? Is it the student athlete who graduated from the IB program and got their IB diploma, went on to college, got a scholarship to play baseball, and now has a 4.0 and just took the test to get into law school? Or is it the coach who has no moral character and threatens 16-year-old boys that he will make sure that they don't have an opportunity to play a sport in college? The final point I would like to make is that I ask you to put yourself in my situation. If you would just raise your hand, if you have children. Now, would you want your children to play a sport in college if they had the opportunity? Just consider that. Now, what if your child came to you and said, Mom, Dad, Coach told me today he's going to make sure I don't have that opportunity, that he'll take that away from me? How are you feeling now? Would you want your child to play for somebody like that? Because I know I wouldn't. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends our public comment section. We will move now into our board member comments. Board members. Any comments tonight?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I had the pleasure of attending two graduations this past week, one at West Iredell High School and one at Katz. And I had sort of forgotten the joy it was to be a teacher. And it was all brought back to me during that time. And I appreciate the opportunity, and I really enjoyed the experience. So good luck to the seniors, and I hope you do well. Thank you.
Thank you. I also would like to comment on the school year. This has been a fantastic school year for Iredell-Statesville schools. When you look at the overall what we've accomplished this year, the amount of scholarships our students have won, it's been a good year. We've accomplished a lot. I'm very proud of what our teachers have done. Everybody, our bus drivers, just what we heard tonight with one of our bus drivers, from the people that clean the buildings to the people that drive them home in the afternoon or pick them up in the morning, the TAs, the teachers, the APs, the ifs and bliffs, and all these other people we have. They work so hard, and I am so proud of them for Iredell-Statesville schools. Are we perfect? No. Do we have some issues? Absolutely. But it's been a really good year for Iredell-Statesville schools. That's my comments. If there are no other board comments, Mr. Johnson will take your comments.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Page. Board members, I had asked the staff last week to send me 2 or 3 items that they were really proud of this school year. And so I got more than 2 or 3 from most of the departments. And we were going to compile those and present them to you tonight, but with the absence of Kelly, we was not able to do that. I'm going to reserve the right to bring that back to you in July because you'll be really impressed when you hear statistics from all of these departments that back up the accolades that we've heard throughout the school year. I did capture a few things during this last couple weeks of school and would like to take just a moment now and call your attention to some of the things that I got to see firsthand. I was at South Iredell High School when they had the dedication of their new building. And when I had heard earlier that the ROTC program was being moved into a mega unit, I was a little disappointed. You know what a mega unit is. It's a lot of double-wide trailers strapped together under one roof. And you don't generally think of that as a very aesthetic environment for kids to be in. This is a story, though, of those kids and their instructors of making lemonade out of lemons. And if you have not been inside this facility, let me challenge you to go down there and ask for a tour. They dedicated their building back in the early part of June and did tours for all those in attendance. And this building is absolutely impressive. There's even an indoor firing range for them to practice with their pellet guns and whatnot. They store all of their equipment in here. And what I was told the day I went on the tour is the instructors and the kids did a lot of the work on the interior of this building, but it's beautiful. You'll have to go see it. West Iredell High School had a career fair back on May 17th, and I hope this is something that's going to catch on and spread to our other high schools. But they had about 30 vendors out there. This is Niagara Bottling Company from Mooresville, and the gentleman there on the left is one of the recruiters, HR folks for Niagara. He was very complimentary of Gordon Palmer, the principal there that had put this career fair together. You can see a couple of the students from West in the picture as well. Every representative that I spoke to that day said we need to do this at all the high schools. It needs to be done a couple times a year. We are desperate for employees, and this is a great way for us to meet kids firsthand, get to know them, but likewise to inform the public and the members of the student body about the opportunities that are available at these businesses. So we send kudos to West Iredell High School for a very, very successful inaugural career fair. Lots of graduation ceremonies, as Mr. Howell pointed out earlier. This is a snapshot there of Crossroads, and I think we've got some other graduation ceremonies. CCTL was held that same day on the campus of Mitchell. Just a beautiful day for a graduation. Back on May 25th, these are our student athletes that were recognized at the induction ceremony for the Hall of Fame by the Hall of Fame committee. And I think all of those students are ISS students. There may be one Mooresville graded up there. But I was really tickled this year that the Hall of Fame committee, in addition to inducting adults into their Hall of Fame, are recognizing our students. And each of those students were presented a trophy that night and had an opportunity to tell the crowd a little bit about themselves. And there are some stellar athletes there and just genuine good citizens. Anybody would be proud of any one of those students. Many of you attended this celebration. It was our of the years, and we've had a lot of publicity now about our of the years. We're very proud of our employees. This is one of the highlights of the school year as we pull together and recognize the employee from each one of the divisions and departments that represents the very best in their school, in their particular pathway. So again, great celebration this year. Child nutrition banquet. Now, I'll tell you something. I didn't see any of you at the banquet this year, but you're going to have to put this on your calendar next year because Tina Wilson knows how to throw a bash. This is held at the Unity Center each year. She gets vendors to help sponsor this, so there's no cost to the district. The ladies in each of our cafeteria locations come up with door prizes and make baskets and everything, but it is a very celebratory evening, and they always have a lot of fun. When you get them all together in one place, it's a real hoot. And so I invite you to come to that sometime in the future. And I want to thank Tina for the great job she does in supervising them. Next month, we'll tell you about many of the celebrations from the Child Nutrition Department. And there are many, and you will be extremely proud of what they did this year. All right, the Cats graduation. These are our kids. These are homeschool kids. Then a couple of you attended that ceremony. I was really surprised this year to learn that this was the fourth graduating class of our homeschool students. And each of those students has a very compelling story to tell about why they opted out of public schools. Some very, very impressive students there. Some very sharp, dedicated, hardworking students. But for whatever reason, they chose to be homeschooled. And so 4 years ago, we did open a joint venture with our homeschool community and invited these kids to come be part of the Iredell-Statesville schools. And this partnership is flourishing. It's working very, very well. Mr. Rogers will tell you that each year the program gets a little bit larger. And I think our relationship with our homeschool community, they're trusting us a little bit more now. And lots of success as you look across the section of children there. But we're very, very proud of them. That's the basement of the bus garage. I don't know if you've ever been in the basement of the bus garage, but they have a end-of-year celebration themselves. They have lunch together each year just before it's time to return the school buses. So last week they were getting together for hamburgers and hot dogs, and I'm told that it was probably this year one of the smoothest return of buses that we've ever had. You know, over 200 buses come rolling into that parking lot at one time within about a 90-minute span of time. But these guys take their work very, very seriously. And what I told them that day is that they truly are some of the unsung heroes of the school system. You know, those buses travel about 14,000 miles per day. Think about that, 14,000 miles per day. And they're transporting about 12,000 children. And with a few little bumps in the road, no pun intended, most days go off beautifully. And they do have an extremely enviable safety record. and we're very proud of the guys at the bus garage. A very moving ceremony, and Miss Haynes can attest to this because we shared the stage together, was Monticello and Presley's joint graduation last week. And this is the last graduating class for Monticello, as the programs will be merged this summer and moved to the campus of Presley School. But it was a very lively group of kids, and I tell you, we had a dynamic speaker at the program that motivated all of us. But again, here's a point of pride in our school system that some of our most challenged students have a second chance and an opportunity at a high school graduation. All right, here's just some slides of, you can't be at all these graduations, but the feedback that I got is that all 5 of our traditional graduations went very, very well this year. So here's a snapshot of Lake Norman. And there's that beautiful class from North Iredell High School. This is some candid shots down at South Iredell. There's the group from Statesville High School. Miss Haynes and I were at Statesville, and it went beautifully. It was a beautiful day for graduation. The weather cooperated. And West Iredell, some of their graduates. Each year I'm always fascinated by the amount of scholarships that our kids win. And I tell you what, this year we have set a new district high for scholarships. I'll get this to you in writing a little bit later on, but listen to these totals. And these are subject to change because some kids are still getting information back from colleges. Lake Norman High School this year, $10.1 million in scholarships. North Iredell High School, $6.4 million in scholarships. South Iredell High School, $13.4 million. Statesville High School, $1.6 million. West Iredell High School, $3.5 million. Crossroads was $1.6 million. CCTL, $800,000. That's approximately $37.5 million in scholarships. And I tell you what, that's a big number in anybody's book. So, Mr. Page, I wholeheartedly agree with you when you say that Iredell-Statesville Schools is one of the finest districts in North Carolina. And I want to commend all of our teachers, all of our support staff, all of our administrators, our students, and our parents for a very productive school year in 2016-17. Next month, I'll bring back those celebrations from all of the departments so that we can put some numbers behind our bragging rights. But thank you to everybody for a really productive school year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. That brings the end to our public meeting. Mr. Johnson, we still need to go back into closed session.
I think we covered everything, Mr. Page. Unless the board has
members,
anything.
do you know of any reason we need to go back into closed session? Wow, I'm impressed. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Well, let me do the announcements. Chuck, I know you. All right, we got some work days coming up, 12th through the 14th. Our next meeting is July 10th. Please make note of that. Due to the holiday of the 4th, we will be meeting here at 5 o'clock with the Committee of the Whole meeting. We'll be in the Committee of the Whole open session starts at 5 o'clock. And then our regular board meeting time will be at 6 as usual. Any other dates? Anybody need?
Yes. Yes, just one. On Saturday, July the 1st, will be the 13th annual Independence Day Parade for veterans and whatnot in Troutman. And you will see the Iredell-Statesville Schools. You'll see cats there. You'll see a combined band from Iredell-Statesville Schools. And you'll see our ROTC. So you'll see our entire staff, even though it is July and students are out of school, you will see us on display. So come to Troutman, 11 o'clock, and we'll have our 13th annual parade. And Iredell-Statesville Schools will be a great part of our parade. So
that's always an exciting day. I will say it kind of is like an old-timey celebration of July 4th. It always represents our military very, very well. Thank you, Mr. Gain, for being in charge of that. And we do have a lot of our our schools are represented. So that's a great day to come down. Then they have fireworks and a bunch of other stuff going on. So if you want to, that's really a good day. Makes you feel good about America.
In Troutman.
In downtown Troutman, North Carolina. Any other comments? The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.